If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
The following podcast may contain discussions supported by science that may be considered dangerous to some listeners and conspiracy theorists. Discretion is advised.
The 3 Down Greencast is brought to you by Lucky Bastard Distillers, Saskatchewan's premier distillery, and by the Pile of Bones Brewing Company, brewed in the heart of Regina.
Welcome to the 3 Down Greencast.
Holy
You
shit.
are listening to the internet's only Are We Really Doing This podcast.
We are doing this!
Joel Gasson with John Fraser as usual. And yes, this is a special edition, I suppose, of the Greencast. Hence the, I guess, extra long welcome, which I think I still have a little extra in me. I could have pushed that a little further if I really wanted to.
Which is, like, super impressive, because it's, like, I compare that to, like, one of the ones you get in winter when you're, like, a little under the weather, and it's like, welcome, and it's just like, oh, shit, I gotta be ready to go now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I mean, I do have pretty good lung capacity. That is a thing I can say about myself.
That is just like I'm deceptively short, deceptively fast for a
You're not deceptively short.
No. I'm not fooling anybody with that. I am deceptively fast for a fat guy, though.
Fair enough. So, yes, we have a few things to talk about this week. The Saskatchewan Roughriders are now 6-1 after defeating the Edmonton Elks barely last week on Friday evening. So we will talk about that game. We will talk about quarterback Trevor Harris and his completion percentage streak. I don't even know what to call it. And
his completion streak.
That's you. And a little bit of mea culpa on previous conversations we had about now Edmonton Elks offensive coordinator Jordan Maksimic. Because if there's one thing you and I do quite regularly is admit when we were wrong.
Yes, it's true. It happens a lot.
Mm-hmm. A lot. Like how I went 0-4 in Pick'em last week on 3downnation.com.
Woo!
Hey, anyone can go 1-3. Anyone can go 2-2. It takes real talent to go 0-4. Let me tell you. If I went 1-3 and the one game was actually picking the Elks right, I would have been happy with that, quite frankly.
That's fair.
And I will stand by, and I've said this in the 3 Down group chat. I was like, if the Elks were even like 10% less dumb, they probably win that football game. So
yeah, it's not like the Riders were good in that one. That was like, ooh, okay, oh boy. Mm-hmm. It's actually funny. After that game, I had a dream where I was the Riders head coach.
Oh God.
Yeah. It was the
terrible.
weird. I know I'm barely qualified for my real job, but I couldn't imagine that. But it was me and Andrew Harris, and we were addressing the team, and I was talking about how shitty they were in the fourth quarter, and I was citing stats from your article about how bad they are in the fourth quarter. Like, that is how that game resonated with me. I started dreaming about coaching with Andrew Harris.
Were there needles on the floor? Or...
Hey, there was trace amounts of something.
So yeah, we will get into all that, not the trace amounts and Andrew Harris, and we definitely do not need to be analyzing John's dreams on this podcast. We'll be here for far too long and are not qualified to do that.
I mean, we're barely qualified to talk. And let's face it, this episode, if you're here for football talk, I do apologize. Try again next week.
Yeah, I don't know how long this is going to take overall because, I mean, last week we spent half the episode talking about keys to the city, which I did not anticipate taking that much time. I just wanted to talk about a fun story about Stone Cold Steve Austin being one of 2 recipients to the city of Hamilton. And then John busts out all the numbers and all the stats and all these people who held keys to the cities in various cities across Canada. So it's his fault we took 25 minutes to do anything last week.
Listen, it's just, I see a shiny object, especially after a drink or two, and it's like, ooh, I need to go along with this. And I have dug into the rabbit hole again and again, and I can only promise to maybe do that. Maybe not do it.
Speaking of shiny objects.
You ready for this?
Yep.
Okay. So first off, our very different approaches. First off, Ted, Ray.
No, the shiny object I was mentioning was the trophy that is still in our possession, technically. Because we're going by the curling rules. 3 of the 4 members of the team from last year at the Stadnek Invitational Golf Thingy are the same. We just replaced John with Greg. So it might be an awkward situation next year if all 5 of us show up, which John says he will. We have to hold him to that.
Yeah, I'm actually going to. And I can almost assure that because I can tell you there won't be an in-person draft because my fantasy football league is essentially coming on my 40th birthday trip. So I think I've got the Stadnek down now. I've got the new rotation figured out with my new coworkers at Dodge City. There you go. Got it in off the first 10 minutes. I will be there, and I'm sorry, Greg, Glenn, not you, because I do this with you once a week, and not Don.
Not Don, because we want to win. So
exactly. So Greg or Glenn, you fired.
We'll figure it out. Someone will get Brendan Botchard. We don't know who.
They better not be stealing money from us.
I don't know how they would be, considering we pay for everything ourselves anyway. So
right.
Yes, it was another dramatic end to the Stadnek Invitational. Congratulations to Don and Pat, a.k.a. Piss Jug, who tied at the top of the leaderboard for the individual thingy.
Yeah, and how did it end up getting PJ getting the trophy? Is what I want to know.
He said he was on fire that day. He played well.
No. I mean, they tied. Mm-hmm. So how did PJ get it? Because there was I have seen, and you know what?
I'm guessing Don was old enough to just, he's cool with it along for the ride. I guess I don't know. They're supposed to sort it out amongst themselves what they're going to do with the jug for the next year. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I saw a picture of it safely buckled up in PJ's truck, and in fairness to PJ, he is frequently in Regina for work,
yeah.
So maybe.
Well, yes, there was much of a conversation beforehand about how you were essentially the only one that had the kernel last year, and I was like, and I said, and I made the point to be clear that I bear some responsibility in that because I completely spaced on bringing it back to Regina after Saskatoon men's curling.
That's fair. I mean,
I was at about a 5% that day. So
there has not been a Sunday of the Saskatoon City Bonspiel that either of us have been above about 5%. So no, I get it. So that's partially on you. And I was willing. I even said, remember when he showed up for City Men's? I'm like, hey, don't forget to take the kernel home just in case.
Yeah. So anyway, it was, but again, yes, for the Colonel, spoiler alert, we did win, obviously, as I said. It came down to the final hole again, which I believe it did last year.
Yes, because I posted a double bogey on the final hole.
Yes, we were tied coming home. Also use the curling term. So on 18, there's only the 3 groups in this year at the Regina event anyway, and there was, we were with the Daves, which is basically just Pat carrying them. It was literally the only reason it was close, quite frankly. So we were both tied at +7. Yeah, +7 coming home, because the way the event works, if you're unclear, everyone plays their own balls, but the best score of every hole is what counts towards the team score.
Which is technically best ball. Yes. So whenever you go to a tournament and you say we're playing best ball, no, you're playing a scramble. Scramble is this is one of my pet peeves being a golfer my whole life. A scramble is all 4 year old. Oh, both of you shoot. You take the best ball out of that. I get it. Makes no sense.
I will say, if we were playing a scramble, we all would have been in prime location after Don's drive on 18.
Oh really? Oh, it came out clutch again?
Beauty. Basically middle of the fairway. I don't know, a wedge from the green, because that's a short par 4 to end.
It's a short par 4, but it's a tricky par 4 because that green comes back uphill.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, chips. We were all disastrous chipping trying to get up there, but yeah.
But I remember Don coming up clutch there last year.
Mm-hmm, he did. So yeah, and then I was looking at the scorecard halfway down, and The other teams, the Daves I know was the name of their team, hadn't updated yet, and it was still just showing tied. And then we figured, okay, well, we ended up with a bogey on the final hole and we're, as our best score. And we're like, it's like, okay, we probably maybe at best tied this thing. We probably lost.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until I got back into the parking lot and I was dropping Glenn off at his truck, I looked at it again, and their best score was a double bogey on 18.
Oh, no! PJ almost choked the whole thing away!
So, yeah, he tied the main thing with Don and then lost the team event to us. And
Wow.
still, Colonel Trophy champions, I don't remember what you want to call it, is us, quite frankly. But honestly, all in all, once again, super fun day. Dave puts his name on it, and he says he doesn't do much with it, but realistically, he says he calls the course and he calls the restaurant, which, quite frankly, are probably the two most important things. Because if we don't have a tea time, this ain't happening.
And I can tell you, someone who has fallen behind on his draft weekend planning, securing that tea time can be tricky. I just finally got it done here today.
Yeah, so all that was fun. Of course, great work from Joe, as usual, doing sort of all the grunt work and the technical side of everything. And Sean was the official photographer this year as well. So
I love that.
Yeah, great fun had by all over $5,000 raised between us and sponsors. And there's a couple of satellite events in Calgary and BC as well. And lofty goals for next year, apparently. It looks like they want to basically double it again and try to get to $10,000 raised. We'll see how that goes. If John comes and shoots the lights out and gets a bunch of birdies, I mean, it's possible.
I know, because now there's the penalty. There's the penalty for birdies.
Yes.
In fairness, I am golfing.
I will propose some other rules in terms of ways to raise money, because on one of the holes, I forget what it was like 4 or something. The team behind us, which included 2-and-out Sheldon Jones, almost hit us with one of their shots. It came flying. It wasn't really that close, but we joked that they got all 4 of us. We like, they saw us too. Like, we jokingly said, "Oh, we all should just collapse to the ground in that moment."
That would have been hilarious.
It would have been a really funny way. So then I was thinking, I was like, well, what if then, okay, if you hit another player with a golf ball on another team, that's a $100 donation. If you hit a completely random golfer not associated with a Stadnek, that's a $200 donation.
Yeah, I would say. And I would even, just thinking of it early, I feel like I should donate for everybody that drives a Stellantis product to the event next year. So Jeep, Chrysler, Ram, or Dodge.
Okay.
So I feel like, I'll be donating $10 myself.
Yeah.
So there we go. We've got 2 references in. We're still in the open.
We're still in the open, technically.
Oh,
we are
technically.
Still there.
Well, we got a double open today.
We do kind of have another thing, which kind of ties into the usual sort of what's in your glass segment.
Are you ready for this?
Yes, we teased this last week because it was coming. You can tell the story as to how the Malort came to be here.
So first,
as
loyal
I opened
listener
my
Ray.
full bottle of Malort.
So fun story about Ray. Ted and I were talking about this the other night. He was actually featured in the Star Phoenix because he was living down south at the time, and it was like the late 90s. He was listening. He wanted to listen to the West Final, had no way of doing so. So he phoned his family back in Saskatchewan.
Oh, yeah, he was telling me the story at the game.
Yeah, and so they put him on the phone.
Grandpa Ted was telling me the story at the game because he's the chatterbox.
Yeah, exactly. He is. Yeah, Ray just goes about his business and smuggles Malort across the border. Ted is like, okay, Ray and Ted are like me and you. I'm Ted. Okay, so Ted's telling me the story that finally they figured out a moose call was the way to do it. But anyways, Ted has been regaling me every day with the journeys of this bottle of Malort, which has come from Ray in the U.S., came to Regina, all the way to the West Coast, back to Saskatoon, and is ready. See, now, the funny thing is you and I are doing this in 2 very different ways. I'm treating it with the respect it deserves. I have my scotch set up. I have the giant ball ice cube, which I have kept in the golf ball until now, and you have a dirty pill bottle that you smuggled in and out of the Mosaic Stadium.
I can either confirm or deny that's how that happened.
Allegedly.
I do have a pill bottle of Malort. How I got it, I don't know. It just sort of ended up in my house. What can I say?
So you ready for this?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it doesn't really smell that bad. It doesn't smell like anything, quite frankly, unless I just don't have it. Unless I don't. Okay, it's not just me. I'm like, it's just the pill bottle doesn't have enough nose. Like, I don't know. Like,
No, I'm smelling it. I've got it in my glass. I've got it over the ice right now.
I do have some water and a beer ready. So
We'll see how this goes. I've got like a full glass, so
Yeah.
we're gonna see how this. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
It's weird, but I don't hate it.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
Yeah.
There it
it's
is on the
like-
back end. It gets really, really weird.
It
Like,
does.
At first, it's very like, okay, this is kind of like a weird like fireball.
Yeah.
But then now it's just lingering of like,
botanicals.
yeah, and like sort of, I don't even know how to describe it. Like I get why people like talk about like stinky feet or whatever, right?
It's
I get sort of that, like, it's not pleasant on the back end as it lingers here, but I think I had psyched myself out so much that I'm like, this is not as bad as I was expecting. Like, I'm not, like, I thought I would, like, gag or something at some point.
Right.
I'm like, no, maybe I'm just that much of a degenerate that it doesn't bother me. I don't know.
Well, and then the aftertaste goes away. It almost, you know what it tastes like? It tastes like...
If you do the shot, it does not go away quickly, I'll tell you that.
Oh, no, sipping it over ice, it actually goes away quite nicely.
No,
I would say...
Mine's still very much there.
You've had Jägermeister before, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's almost like kind of that taste of it, but not as intense and not as like your body doesn't instantly reject it.
Less
It reminds-
medicinal, yeah.
Yes, it's like the botanical taste, but less medicinal. As a big gin drinker,
Mm-hmm.
I think I enjoy this. Like I'm enjoying, like, I like a bitter kind of drink like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of, the best way I can describe it is like if gin and Jägermeister. No, that's how I describe it. It is less medicinal. There is a botanical Hungarian drink called Unicum.
Okay.
And of course, in my Hungarian MCing
Something else
days,
we need to smuggle over a border somewhere now, or?
oh no, you can buy this one because I've had it at a Hungarian Pavilion, and Unicum has a very similar taste to this, but Unicum is very medicinal, like Jägermeister. I am slowly coming around on this. I
can see why it grows on people. Like,
Mhm.
maybe not necessarily as a shot. Like, the shot, it definitely lingered for a very long time on the gross end. But yeah, if you had it over ice and you were sipping on it, maybe even just like a splash of water in there.
Yeah,
it wouldn't,
well,
it wouldn't be like a sort of regular rotation in my drink, but I'd like every once in a while I'd be like, yeah, I think I could have one of these, you know?
Yeah, I think it is a great definitely, like, once in a while. I also love, because it does come from Chicago, Illinois. The bottle is fan. Like, the bottle I'm keeping. Like, the bottle, I don't know how I'm going to decorate or where I'm going to decorate it, but, like, the bottle needs to stay. It does say on the back, has the aroma and full-bodied flavor and unusual botanical. Its bitter taste is savored by two-fisted drinkers. So basically what it's saying is drink it with something else.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. But I wanted to try it in its rawest, purest form, just to know.
Yeah, you were like out on the.
Plus,
on the
I mean,
night in
I
Chicago.
didn't have that much of it, so I was like, well, I might as well just do this.
That's fair. I have the ball. You know what? I'm safe to say there will probably still be some of this when you come visit me next time.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Who knows? Anything's possible when we're talking about booze at John Fraser's house. So,
although it's funny, in this new role, I'm drinking way less. Now tonight's an exception because my dog shit on the floor. Like I come back from work, I'm hey,
we take a hard right turn here.
right. I come back from work, I'm like, hey, sales management's fun, the energy. I love, getting people in new cars. It's a lot of fun. And then tonight I come home, I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling good. Podcast with you. We're going to try Malort. And then I come into my basement, my dog has shit on the floor. And, no, it's, we're going to go back to some finance manager level of drinking here tonight. I tell you what, Gas.
The Riders, they almost shit on the floor in the middle of Mosaic Stadium.
I was about to take a sip.
As they blew a 21-4, nearly blew a 21-4 early fourth quarter lead to beat the Elks 21-18. We'll talk about that and a whole bunch more. As usual, John, for the Pile of Bones Brewing Company. Other than the Malort, what is in the glass this week and nearly came out your nose?
The Malort nearly came out my nose. But what isn't coming out my nose is Black Bridges New England IPA. I wanted something strong for tonight because tomorrow's my day off, and the Sobeys liquor I go to, completely out of double white, completely out of Fat Tug, so we went with the New England IPA. Very similar taste profile to Fat Tug. I've got a lot of I figure I wanted a juice bomb, kind of reading that Malort was bitter. So the New England IPA, a juice bomb, 6.2%, makes me forget.
Are you gonna recover? Are you okay? That might be one of my best transitions, and I thought it was pretty obvious considering you were talking about shit on the floor.
Gas, it is. I don't know why. Poop is funny, okay?
It is.
I mean, I'm sure you heard it as a young announcer in broadcasting school and your time on air. They're never make a poop joke, right? That's what every PD told me.
That's what every number 2 radio station says. Not that there is any, because everyone's number 1, right? So
that's right. Number 1 in adults that are 23, 24, driving down the street at 4 o'clock. You're listening to Hits 102. Yeah, that vibe. But I don't care. Poop is funny, and I think the only actual complaint we've ever gotten about this podcast came from Jock when we went on way too long about my balls. So balls are not funny, but poop is funny. Jock, if I'm wrong,
specifically,
let me know.
Your balls aren't funny.
They're actually ridiculously small for the size of man I am.
Saskatoon berries.
The unfuckable Saskatoon berry. It's on brand. What the fuck?
Oh, this is what happens when the Riders do the same thing every week and we don't have a whole lot to talk about. They just go way off the rails.
Well, you have to. Hey, they came out. They looked really good. They shat on the floor. They looked really bad. They made it close at the end. Fucking game over.
Yeah.
I don't know how you keep writing articles. At least the podcast, I'm we can make enough jokes and kind of make it through this thing.
Yeah.
But you got to write a full... you don't write as long as an article as some others at 3 Down Nation. But you still got to write an article, and it's but I love your line, before tucking in for their late game nap. It's they're a child that needs nap time.
I also initially tried to jokingly say winter's nap and then correct myself, because it was Christmas in July was the game.
Oh, yeah.
So I was trying to make a night before Christmas reference, but yeah. I don't know if it didn't quite come across quite that way, as the editor took that line out of my story, unfortunately. So
womp womp. What? So what's in after all that? What's in your glass? I hope it's not poop.
It's not poop. No, it's the opposite of poop. For me, it is Citra Wants to Be Your Friend, New England IPA from the multinational brewing company. Just another one of their terrific New England IPAs that they make semi-frequently. This one, yeah, it's really good.
Do they have? Oh, it's 35% alcohol by volume on the Malort. Sorry, I felt warm all of a sudden. But I remember I had a vodka to suppress my gag reflex while picking up dog poop. So that would all make sense.
The Riders nearly sent their fan base into a gag reflex, as they, as mentioned, they had a 21-4 lead after the third quarter against the Edmonton Elks. A team who we may mention has one win coming into this game this past week. And it wouldn't be as sad if it wasn't just so predictable that the game ended up 21-18. And realistically, the Riders easily could have lost that game. And a bunch of us up in the press box were talking about it early in the fourth quarter. I think I even said the final score was going to be 21-17. I don't remember if I said 18 exactly, but it was in that range. It basically ended up bang on to what I said was going to happen as the fourth quarter started.
Life is a workout, and Smoothie King is here to help you power through. Whether you're grinding out bicep curls or muscling the couch across the living room, crushing morning miles, or sprinting through back-to-back meetings, Smoothie King has fuel to help you maximize your workouts, own your recovery, and elevate your game. Give your body the energy, protein, and power it needs with a lineup of delicious smoothies made to help you conquer your goals. Only at Smoothie King.
Yes.
which is bad and scary. And it just continues this thought that I have in my mind that this team just isn't as good as their record indicates. Because if you look at it, if you just look straight on at a team at a record, that their record is 6-1. you think, wow, that's a really good football team.
That's right. They're playing really good ball.
Yeah. And game after game, win after win, I just don't leave the game or watching the game feeling that impressed by them.
No.
It's very like, okay, like they're good. They're good enough. And I mean, a lot of this, I think, has to do with sort of the state of the league right now, where there is arguably only 2 teams better than them at most, which would be the Calgary Stampeders and the Hamilton Ticats. I think any of those 3 teams right now, you can kind of shuffle in the different spots depending on what you think of them. But after that, there's a pretty big cliff. I think that's pretty obvious right now.
Oh, 100%.
And a lot of that can change. So, personally, me, like, I know we do our power rankings every week on 3 Down Nation, and for me, I had the Hamilton Ticats 1. I mean, they've won 5 games in a row. I've had them at 2 for the last 3 weeks, and finally my colleagues decided to agree with me and move them up to 1. I still kept Calgary at 2 because I think circumstances led to them losing that game against Montreal. Very clearly, if Vernon Adams stays in that game, they at least get enough first downs to keep Montreal out of field goal range more regularly. So I think they win that game if Vernon Adams doesn't have to leave. And then I put the Riders 3, quite frankly. And then after that, until we got to 8 and 9, it became a jumbled mess.
Yeah. And well,
because suddenly the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are bad again, like they were at the start of last year. We thought maybe they were good this year at the start of the year. So who knows right now?
You're right. The Riders are the least impressive 6-1 I think I've ever seen in my life.
In the CFL, at least, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you've had some bizarro seasons in many of the sports that I've covered, but
yeah.
The fact is that they literally take a quarter off, and it's funny. It's the number one thing that every coach preaches ever. Is, hey, we got to play 60 minutes. We got to play 60 minutes. The Riders like, yeah, we're going to play like 40 and still win. So I don't know if that's showing untapped potential or a deep flaw in this team.
Yeah, here's the thing though, like we talk about sort of, and it seems greater this year than it did last year, but even last year, there was a number of times they struggled to put away games. So I think we have enough of a sample size to say that there is something going on, either personnel-wise, coaching-wise, scheme-wise, some sort of way that is causing this to happen. Or maybe it's a combination of everything. I do not know. But I think...
and I'm quoting directly from your article, as I did in my dream with Andrew Harris as the new head coach of the Riders. Last 3 weeks, Riders have put up exactly 0 points in the fourth quarter. Luckily, they played BC and Edmonton. Overall, they've been blanked in the fourth quarter 4 of 7 games this season.
Yes, I had forgotten that they were also blanked in the fourth quarter against Ottawa in week 1. Until I went and looked through all the weeks, and that's when I started doing the math on that. I was like, oh boy.
So is that 5 of 7?
No, that's 4. That's of the 4 of 7.
Yeah,
I remembered
the
3. I actually forgot they were blanked against Calgary as well, but it didn't matter because Calgary didn't score anything either.
No, exactly. But it's still that's absolutely wild, and
it's funny. Like in Peter Kleiner, our colleague here, 3 Down, likes to talk about their slow starts as well, which are also as real.
Yes,
I'm not as concerned about a slow start because the defense has played well enough to keep them in those scenarios. Right. So, and you can overcome that, but the fourth quarters are just wild. They've only outscored their opponents in 2 fourth quarters this year out of 7 games.
That's insane.
They've scored 40 points in the fourth quarter, all of them in like the 3 games, but it averages out to just under 6 points per fourth quarter. And you're just not going to win when it matters doing that. I don't care what the score is heading into the fourth quarter. In the CFL, unless you're up like 48-0 heading into the fourth quarter, if you don't score points in the fourth quarter, even if it's just a couple of field goals, you're going to keep your opponent in the game, and they will hang around enough to potentially make things interesting. And when they play a good team come the playoff time, interesting could cost them the game.
Well, and especially too, at some point, the defense is going to bend a little bit in the fourth quarter.
Well, that's exactly what happened in that fourth quarter. And I think there were some people questioning when Corey Mace challenged the roughing the passer when Tavon Campbell's ass hit Cody Fajardo.
Hi, I was one of those.
Yeah,
Hello.
And I was like, I think he's just giving his defense a break because they've been on the field the whole dang quarter.
Right.
And I think it was a way of calling a timeout, but also extending it beyond a normal timeout to say, hey, I want to challenge this play. So obviously there's the time where some time in between the start of the challenge, they actually review it and they come back and blah, 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 blah. So it was essentially, I saw it as an extended timeout, so I didn't have a problem with it.
The team in the fourth quarter had 3 2-and-outs.
Yeah.
Like I'm just in the play-by-play on CFL.ca, so that might be flawed. Who knows? But like you go back to back to back 2-and-out until the end of it, in which AJ basically says, okay, I'm putting this away for the love of everybody here on Christmas.
And even then he still didn't, because Edmonton still got the ball back. So
they did. Yeah, just with AJ did just enough to basically keep them out of field goal range.
And I think Edmonton took a penalty on the punt. If I remember correctly. It might have backed them up a bit.
Yes, there was a... No, sorry, there was not.
Not?
No.
Okay, so it was just a good punt. It was just good punt and coverage then, okay. Because then there was the discussion, because they were up 3 at the time. I was thinking they should have taken the rouge and made it 4, just to ensure that the Elks got to go score a touchdown. But
well, and you and I both texted about that, because I thought that would have made a lot of sense. Yeah. But regardless, again, at the end of the day, they dodge yet another bullet while the offense completely falls asleep in the fourth quarter.
And I think, the more I thought about it too, I think coaching can play a role in this.
Yes.
And it was midway through the fourth. There was a certain point in the fourth quarter. They were at like a 3rd and 2, kind of midfieldish, and they opted to punt.
Yes.
And, okay, like most of the time, that's fine. When you're up late in the game, I can see it. It's not the end of the world, but I think for a team that has struggled to close games and has struggled to sort of mentally get over that hurdle, which I think is clearly a thing at this point, do you not send the message of, hey, we're going to go close this game now, go pick up that first down? Like, even if you don't get it, there's still the thought process of, okay, coach is trying to be aggressive, let's get aggressive.
No, 100%. I agree with you. And I think you brought it up in your article, so I'm going to give you all the credit for this, is there is something to be said about, I was watching the game, and even Lacey made a comment, she's like, does Corey Mace ever, like, make a facial expression?
No.
Right, there's something to be said about being professional.
Yeah.
Show up, do the job. And obviously this is something that this team needed after the Craig Dickinson era, where it seemed like it was just penalty after penalty after penalty. But sometimes you need... I'm not saying it has to be Mace, but maybe it's somebody on the coaching staff.
I don't think it should come from the coaching staff. I think something like bringing out the emotion and swagger, attitude, whatever you want to call it. I'm not saying they need to go full Winnipeg Blue Bombers Swaggerville or anything like that, but football is an emotional game, and it requires a certain amount of, for lack of a better term, even though Andrew Harris is on the coaching staff, certain amount of juice to really take your play to another level. And I don't see that from this group. Now, maybe it's starting to manifest a little bit, because despite all this conversation, the one positive that came from it was Trevor Harris was actually mad about it after the game.
I love that.
I love it too. And he was blaming himself, but he's also talking about like the approach as a whole, not from anyone in this particular, but just the fact that they need to figure this out because they know championship teams close games. And because sometimes I feel like when I'm writing things, and I write about things a lot, like I still have a bit of an imposter syndrome about this at times, where I'm like, am I out to lunch? Like, am I insane? Does anyone actually agree with me? Because I don't hear a super lot of talk about this at times.
Right.
But then Trevor Harris comes out after the game and basically echoes exactly what I was thinking. And I'm like, okay, I feel a little better now.
Well, I mean, in fairness, and I think you and I suffer from the same thing here on this podcast, but on the same note, like, our livelihoods are not tied to the team about saying something critical, right? Like the riders Ariel could say, you're never allowed to talk to these two guys, and it wouldn't change the way we do business. And I'm not sitting here
I don't really do anyway, so it's fine.
No, exactly. I'm not sitting here going, oh, we're a spicy rider podcast, but I think maybe that's why...
We speak what we believe to be the truth. I'm not, like, if things are great and they're doing great, we will praise them. If things are going terribly, we will shit on the floor in front of them.
I keep thinking of the Rick and Morty episode. I gotta watch. As soon as we're off this, even before I go upstairs to see my family again, I'm 100% watching Shit on the Floor by Rick and Morty. But it was good. I like Trevor calling it out. I like...
I wonder if that'll help sort of awaken it a little bit, so to speak, right?
Spark the team.
Yeah.
Right. So they need a spark. They need an emotional leader. And
because, I mean, as far as like Ryder wins for as long as I can remember, like that was kind of like one of the grossest feeling. Like there's been a lot of gross Ryder wins in history.
Yeah.
Like this is what this team has historically done.
And we've discussed that at length.
But in terms of games where I have never felt more negative after a win in sort of a I don't know about this team kind of way, because there was obviously the 2014 Banjo Bowl where you thought very negatively, but that was for very different reasons.
Right.
In terms of losing the starting quarterback, the franchise guy, versus is this team actually good? I don't know.
Right. And I think with this team, I think they do need a spark. I think business-like is good.
A certain degree of level-headedness is obviously required in professional sports. There's no doubt about that. And it's any sport at any level that you want to play. If you want to be good at it, you have. But yes, every once in a while,
say, let's fucking go.
Yes, every once in a while, you need that sort of extra little jolt to get you over the finish line. And I keep coming back to the smoke-delayed game a few weeks ago. It is clear that the Calgary Stampeders have that with Vernon Adams Jr.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that comes from internally here. Maybe Trevor Harris is realizing that and is deciding that he's going to try to be that guy.
Right. I mean, Tom Brady was very much that guy. And I know, like, Trevor Harris models himself after Tom Brady, right? Like, you see Tom Brady mic'd up, like, he's got this reputation for being this stoic, robot in the pocket. But Tom Brady was the first guy to rally the troops and let's fucking go. Let's get this. Like, let's go win this game, right? Like, and I think as this team goes on, I don't think you're going to get that from the coaching staff, and that's not a criticism of the coaching staff because
I don't. And again, I don't think that should come from the coaching staff.
No, and Corey Mace has been wildly successful with this team.
Yeah,
like there is no denying that Corey Mace has come in and created a great culture and everything like that. It's just maybe I don't know how you go find that LFG guy, but like
we're at the point where it's okay. Sort of the foundation is in place. Things are heading in the right direction. It's clear sort of what this team is now. It just needs that little extra 10%.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
A guy who does not need an extra 10% at this point is Riders quarterback Trevor Harris.
Yes.
As we're going to play a little game.
Okay.
Sparked by our friend who does not know we're a friend of the show, Tim McAuliffe, formerly of Tim and Sid. Now,
I miss that show so much. I hate the fact he's on Connected.
Now buried on Sportsnet Connected or whatever.
The biggest waste of talent in any sports broadcast ever. Mini rant here. Tim McAuliffe is legitimately the most talented broadcaster on the planet. His play-by-play is so good. His hosting skills, like everything that man does, he's the best broadcaster on the planet. I see you, Scott Van Pelt. Tim McAuliffe was better. And they have him hosting Connect.
Yep.
Anyways, mini rant.
On Tim and Sid, they had a game called Superstat, meaningless number, where they would roll through a bunch of stats and trends and things in sports. In the conversation in the news lately has been Trevor Harris's, I believe now record completion percentage streak, where he's had at least 70% completion rate in, I believe it's like 10 straight games now. So, John, is this a superstat or a meaningless number?
I'm going to go superstat. Because the amount of quarterbacks you've seen come and go in the CFL that couldn't complete a pass. Hello, Tino Sinceri. Hello, Brett Smith. I see you there, Michael Bishop. It is a super stat for what he's doing. But
so you're going to ride the fence here, coward.
I am going to ride the fence a bit, okay? I do think it's a super stat because it is truly impressive to put up that completion percentage at any level of football anywhere. Like, whether that's flag, whether that's, recreation, whether that's senior men's. That is an incredible number to put up. But it is not what this team needs at times.
No.
This team needs a guy who can air it out to Samuel Emelis.
If he can stay on the field.
Yeah, I know. Jeez. Like, or Johnson or some of these great receivers. Because we know the Riders have great receivers. But you need that guy. Like, you look at what Zach Collaros does in Winnipeg. And rightfully or wrongfully so, when Zach is dialed, he absolutely can air it out.
Yes. As we've talked about, Zach is he has the widest spread between his floor and his ceiling.
He absolutely does. And I think that, and I know that it's a super stat because it's such an impressive accomplishment, but it's not necessarily what the team needs at times because you need that guy to push the field, but who else does it? Like, I will take Trevor Harris over everybody but basically Bo Levi and Vernon Adams right now.
I'd take Nathan Rourke in a heartbeat, too.
Nathan Rourke ahead.
He's just stuck in a bad situation.
No. Well, that's what happens when you make, $700,000 a year. You're not going to be able to surround with talent. So I think I don't want to discredit what Trevor has done. It's incredibly impressive. But if he was 32 years old and could still push the field from time to time, it'd be way more impressive. So it is a super stat with an asterisk.
Yeah, I think it's a meaningless number. It's sort of like time of possession. It's very context driven. Because that streak included that 70% he put up against Calgary when he did not look particularly good, especially for the first half. So
that's fair.
It's a nice nod. Like, it is. I agree. It is impressive. It is obviously difficult to do. But I don't think it really means a whole lot at the end of the day. I know coaches probably love it. That's the way football is going now, where, they prefer quarterbacks just make safe, smart decisions rather than, playing the position, quite frankly. And I've changed my thought on this a lot too, especially in the last little while. I don't mind a quarterback throwing the odd interception. I think it is far overblown how, yes, there are bad times and bad interceptions to throw. There is no question about that. But for the most part, a lot of interceptions are arm punts. A lot of defenses rally around that as well when you give up an interception, and you can really mitigate sort of the effect of that interception quite often. So I think it's better for the game, it's better for the players, it's better for everyone if we don't expect perfection out of quarterbacks and let them push the ball downfield. And yeah, that's going to lead to some interceptions, but quite frankly, coaches have to get over that, because I think ultimately it's going to win you more football games in the long run, and it's going to prep you for big moments. Because like hypothetically, it also preps your defense for, say you have a quarterback who does like a 70-80% sort of average of completion percentage all year, barely throws any picks, and all of a sudden, for some reason, he throws a really boneheaded one in like a division championship or a Grey Cup or something, and your defense hasn't really dealt with this all year. All of a sudden, they're trying to figure this out in like the biggest moment of the season rather than week 4 in the second quarter.
No,
there's nothing wrong with this, and I think it's one of those things. It's one of those stats, like batting average. It's like quarterback wins. It's like all these sorts of things where it's like it kind of matters, but it also doesn't really matter that much. You know what I mean?
Well, and I mean, how many times have we said that Vernon Adams is fun as hell?
Yeah. Well, it's like
this.
We can bring this around to curling even, where how many times do they talk about on broadcast, because especially on TSN during certain events with certain skips, they're trying to not bury a skip who's playing poorly. It's like sometimes it's not about the number of shots you make, it's making the right shot at the right time. And as dumb as the cliche is, it is absolutely true. And that is also true for quarterbacking. I mean, hell, Cody Fajardo, he didn't play that great in that game. He put up 300 plus yards, but he made a couple of huge plays at the right time that kept his team in the game. Well, and sometimes that's the name of the game, right?
Well, and Cody and VA are leaders like that can rally their team around them. And I'm hoping that Harris is becoming that in just a very different Tom Brady way. And it's funny, you look at what VA has done in Calgary to make them fun as hell and competitive again, and that guy's tossed 6 interceptions. 9 touchdowns, 6 interceptions in this year, right? Like,
no, I wouldn't recommend that you want your quarterback to be like Zach Collaros right now in a negative in the touchdown interception spot, but it is okay to throw a few interceptions. It's okay. It's okay.
It's fine. Interceptions on deep balls is not going to make you mid.
No, it is not. One guy who may be mid,
looks mid for sure,
is Edmonton Elks offensive coordinator Jordan Maksimic. And this is where
this is when we get to say we're wrong.
We were wrong. This was definitely a scenario where we were wrong. Because remember, it was a couple years ago when we were talking about who the Riders, should hire as a head coach eventually, because the writing was clearly on the wall. It's what was going to happen with Craig Dickinson. We talked about, and at the time, Jordan Maksimic was an up-and-coming guy because of what he did with Nathan Rourke in that sort of historic year, and clearly with Vernon Adams Jr. After that. And it's just starting to look like he was the guy that was bailed out by 2 very good quarterbacks. because now that things kind of went sideways late last year, and this year especially, watching that Edmonton Elks team this past week, he feels like a guy, like a thing bad coaches do is try to jam a square peg into a round hole.
Yes, absolutely.
Like a good coach adapts to the personnel he has. And yes, you generally want to bring in the personnel you want, but the fact is, when you join a new organization, you cannot overturn your roster an entire year and bring in your guys instantly. So he was going to be stuck with some guys who were not his guys to begin with. So at least for a year, you have to figure out how to make this work. And based on what I'm seeing out of that offense, it does not look like that, because everyone under the sun knows the Edmonton Elks can be a pretty good football team when they run the football. And he's run the ball like 5 times in the last 2 weeks.
And yet they're last in passing yards, last in completions, still somehow last in net offense, last in first downs, and last in offensive plays, right?
Yeah.
And the funniest thing is, with that, you'd think a smart OC. I get when you say, oh, a guy like Trey Ford is hurt and you have to go to the other guy and it makes the guy look worse. I would argue that there is no team in the CFL that has 2 as similar quarterbacks as Edmonton. Cody's not as fast as he used to be.
No, heavens. I think that was on full display in that game. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But if you want a guy to run a bootleg, if you want a guy to roll
Spin
out,
left, yep.
Right, that is Cody Fajardo and Trey Ford. So the fact that you've got 2 guys that are very similar, it's not like in Winnipeg when you go from Zach Claris, you got to go, oh shit, now we got a game plan. We have to be, the Chris Trevler team, or in Saskatchewan, you go from Trevor Harris to just, Jake Mayer, who's just not very good, right?
Yeah. Or Ottawa with Drew Brown to Dustin Crum or Lord knows what, right?
Right? So you've got 2 very similar quarterbacks, and you're right. It's the old chicken before the egg. It was like Nathan Rourke made Maximuk look good, and not the other way around.
I think Nathan Rourke and some very good receivers made Jordan Maximuk look very good that half season.
So, for once, Saskatchewan dodged a bullet with a trendy coaching hire.
They sure did. I don't think there's any doubt. And I don't know if there was ever really much of a chance that he was coming here, but we discussed at length he was a guy we wanted, and it worked out that they didn't listen to us.
Who would have thought not listening to us would be good?
Lowe's knows that more projects mean more tools. For a limited time, new and existing MyLowe's Rewards credit card members can get 12-month special financing on purchases of $299 or more, in-store and online. Don't wait to get the things you need. Get special financing today. Lowe's. We help. You save. Now through August 27th, choose 12-month special financing on purchases of $299 or more. Offer subject to credit approval and cannot be combined. Minimum monthly payments required. See store at Lowe's.com for details.